Greetings and salutations for baseball tonight. Scott Reese, Cowboy Jeff Brantley, and Tim Kirkshire hanging out on a Saturday night. What better place to begin, guys, than with the hottest team in all the land, the Los Angeles Dodgers, having won 13 out of 14 heading into their matchup with the rival San Francisco Giants. And hey, we got a Kareem sighting. No, my name is Murdoch, Roger Murdoch. I'm the co-pilot. Bottom one, Julio Lugo.
Roger.
Kenny Lofton in the Dodgers with a 1-0 lead early. Bottom two, it's now 2-0. Brad Penny to shallow right field. Ray Durham, he's got sunglasses. He's got sunglasses on and he loses in the sun. Why does that happen?
Got to put them on.
3-1 in the fourth.
Still hitting the fastball.
Here come the Giants. Moises Alou. That'll play Durham and Bonds tied at 3. 4-3 Dodgers now in the fifth. Omar Vizquel off a penny. Well, these Giants have some veterans, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Finley scores another one.
A little off the mark there.
4-4 game. In the fifth, Wilson Badamet. 13th of the year. 4th since coming over from the Braves.
Nothing like playing time.
Takashi Saito trying to close it out in a 6-5 game.
How good has this guy been for the Dodgers?
Well, Finley unimpressed. He rockets one to the gap, but Jason Repko, who was brought in for defensive purposes in the ninth, makes the play, and Penny becomes the National League's first 13-game winner. He said afterwards, you know, everybody was down and kind of quiet before. Now everybody's having fun. Dodgers now play.
It's nice to win.
14 of their last 15 games. And Timmy, we talked a lot about the moves that Ned Colletti made at the trade deadline. He gets Lugo, he gets Maddox, he gets Badamet. Lo and behold, these guys have lost once in a Dodger uniform.
Now, it's amazing. It's a great story going on in L.A. And what's happened is Grady Little has gone to his players and basically said, I need you guys to sacrifice for 50 games here for the good of the team. What he's done, he's got too many good players and not enough positions to play them, so he's moved them all around. Like today, Jeff Kent and Omar Garcia-Parra, their two best hitters, didn't even play. But what he's doing with Julio Lugo, for instance, is he's going to tell him one day you're playing second, the next day you're going to play third, you're going to play in the outfield some, you'll play one day at shortstop. Ideally for you, the best thing to do is to play shortstop every day, but that's not how it's going to work here. They have so many good hitters on that club now, and now I think clearly they're the team to beat in this division.
And the thing about that, too, Timmy, is when you take somebody off the bench now, they're ready to go because they just got finished getting 4 ABs yesterday.
Yeah, if you can get them to buy into that sort of system, 50 games to go in the season, I think the Dodgers are onto something and now the favorite in that National League West. And you can see it for yourself. The new-look Dodgers hosting the rival San Francisco Giants. That means Barry Bonds versus Greg Maddox. Oh, by the way, they've seen each other once or twice.
That's a 700 home run hitter against a 300-game winner. Never happened before.
Dodgers-Giants, 8 Eastern, Sunday Night Baseball. Now playing for your Houston Astros, young Jason Hirsch. Major League debut tonight. Gaudy numbers at AAA, 13-2 in 23 starts. Starting pitcher for the USA in the Futures game, and also the Texas League Pitcher of the Year at AA in 2005. So the kid's got a minor league pedigree. How would that translate to the bigs as the Astros host Jake Peavy and the San Diego Padres? Well, bottom two, Peavy's in a jam. Runners on the corners, nobody out. There goes Adam Everett and Mike Piazza gunning him down.
Not only a great throw by Piazza, but what a pitch. Look at that slider from Peavy. My goodness.
And then Hirsch, well, I don't know how he hit in the minors. Didn't look so good there. Peavy out of a jam. Top four, it's 2-0 Pods. And make it 4-0 Pods. Mike Cameron, the third long ball of the inning against Hirsch. Bottom four we go, and Peavy still dealing.
Morgan dropped down like that and throw that pitch.
Luke Scott.
To the dugout.
Nothing. 9 strikeouts in 7 innings.
Oh, just flying all over the zone.
Turn it over to Trevor and 74 miles per hour.
5 pitches in the 9th inning for Trevor Hoffman, and he puts 3 guys down.
Save number 31 for Hoffman as the future Hall of Famer continues to get it done. 6-3 your final. You see that note there. Those 3 home runs in the same inning. First time the Pods have done that in more than 2 years. July 2nd of 04.
That's amazing. I'm sure every other team has done it since.
So what about the Diamondbacks hosting the Florida Marlins? Brandon Webb had his last start skipped, had a sore shoulder. And Miguel Cabrera saying, he looks good to me. Webb did go just 5 innings, couple earned, he struck out 4. Down 2-0 in the fourth, and there's the O-Dog with 2 outs. Plates a pair, and we've got ourselves a brand new ball game at 2. Next batter, Luis Gonzalez. He's seeing eye single. Eric Burns in to make it a 3-2 game, and Carlos Quentin with the bases loaded. How good has this guy been since he called?
He's going to be an everyday player for the Diamondbacks next year. He'll probably be their everyday right fielder. They're going to have to figure out what to do with Luis Gonzalez and Sean Green, but I think this kid's going to find a way to play every day next year.
First career trip
like that.
The Snakes get 6 runs in the inning, all with 2 outs. And Johnny Estrada. That's Orlando Hudson making a play.
Nice scouting report right there. Not very happy for you.
Robbing Miguel Olivo. And the Webb Gem nominee, Marlins, or the D-backs rather, doing it at the plate in the field. Webb gets his 13th win. 6-3 is your final as Arizona hangs with the Dodgers in that NL West race. 2 games over 500, you know, that puts you right in the thick of things. Meanwhile, some off-the-field news in South Florida, and Joe Girardi and team owner Jeffrey Loria having somewhat of a spat last week. A bunch of rumors flying around about Girardi possibly being on the chopping block, and they had a news conference already scheduled until cooler heads prevailed. Cowboy, what do you make of this whole scenario?
Well, Jeffrey Loria handpicked Joe Girardi to manage this ball club, and I think any time that you have a manager that has such a stern way about him as Joe Girardi, he's very confident in how he manages the ball club. He wants to be able to do things his way, and he believes that his way is the right way. I think that as many times as Joe Girardi has sat behind home plate, as many ball games as he has seen, I think Joe Girardi has a very good idea about how he wants to develop his young players. And any time that you're called to task in front of your players, especially young players, you've got to be able to handle it with the basic instinct that you're the guy that runs the ball club. I think you have to feel that way as a manager, and that's really the only way that you can handle it. And Joe Girardi did handle it that way, and Jeffrey Loria took exception to that. And I guess if you're the owner of the ball club, you can kind of call it your own way, but they didn't see eye to eye, and it was not pretty for a while there in Florida with Joe Girardi.
I guess, but Joe Girardi, he's done a pretty fair job with this group of young ball players.
Better than fair.
To have them in contention
$15 million payroll in contention. I'd say he's done a really good job.
Yeah, Joe Girardi, excellent freshman campaign or first full season in Florida. Just getting warmed up here on baseball tonight. Will the real Mark Buehrle please stand up? Well, he's not on the mark his last several starts, but the White Sox ace had it all going against the Tigers. It's not just Manny being Manny. It's like Manny being Joe DiMaggio. The hit streak just keeps going and going and going. We'll show you what he did. Some drama with the Sox today. We touch them all the significant dingers of this Saturday, including some throwback unis. Vintage Colorado Rockies Webb Gems. You won't want to miss Larry Walker and company, and of course, all the gems.
Baseball Tonight, brought to you by Century 21. 42 countries, 7,800 offices. We are agents of change.
Tigers, White Sox, Mark Buehrle front and center. Good numbers career against Detroit, 11-5, 256. And Timmy, he started out just fine.
Yeah, he's really struggled lately. 39 1/3, 42 earned runs the last 6 or 7 times out. Been way up in the strike zone. He was much better today, and when he was up in the strike zone, he threw it a little bit better where he wanted it. So a real improvement today from Mark Buehrle. 7 strikeouts through 3 innings. We go to the 5th. Still scoreless, 2 outs. And the mayor. Does he get to be the mayor of Detroit just because he's traded there? Is that how it works? Sean Casey up, and out. 2-0 Detroit. Buehrle, 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Gave up 3 earned. Bottom 5 now. Tigers up 3-1. We got runners at second, or a runner on first. And the hot shot. And the poor throw. Brandon Inge into right field.
These ball games, especially making sloppy plays like this for the Tigers, could be a quick wake-up call for this bunch.
And the squeeze is on. Whoops. that a pitch out or just a really outside pitch?
I think that was a pitch.
Okay.
Nice little call by that man right
That's
there.
good work by the skipper. So it's 4-3 Sox in the ninth. Bobby Jenks, save number 32. 4-3 your final, and the White Sox have won 8 of 11 against the Tigers this season. And just imagine if that had gone the other way.
Still got a few more to play.
Mike McDougal gets his first win in a White Sox uniform.
And he's been very good since he went to the White Sox.
All of a sudden, that league only 6.5. It's not quite what it was a couple of weeks ago. And meanwhile, Mark Burley, it was just days ago, Cowboy. After we heard Tim talk about the struggles, you stood right back over there and you told Mark Burley exactly what was wrong. Apparently, you fixed him.
Well, I don't know if I fixed him, but watching Mark Burley's a highly aggressive pitcher. He likes to work quick. And a lot of times when you do work quick, sometimes a very small adjustment may not become aware to you immediately like Mark Burley, and it took him a while to actually make the adjustment. And in today's ball game, he really seemed to look like, to me, looked like he really put things together. And I think when you watch Mark Burley pitch, a lot of times you see him working so fast that you don't really realize that main pitch that he has is the changeup. And you see here, in order for Burley to get on top of the baseball, he's got to slide that hip forward, keep his weight on that back leg, and what that does is it allows him to get his left hand up high to be able to drive the ball and his chest over that front knee towards home plate. Getting on the front leg, and it allows him to get that downward plane and that downward rotation on his breaking ball, keep the pitches down in the strike zone, especially the off-speed pitches, so that when he does make a mistake or when he does elevate the fastball, it doesn't allow the opposition to sit on it. And today was a perfect exhibition of pitching from Mark Burley. It looks like he's found the adjustment, and Mark Burley is a very aggressive pitcher, the #1 pitcher for the Chicago White Sox, and they need him to be exactly like he was today.
Those 7 strikeouts, a season high for Mark Burley. Meanwhile, Timmy, the Tigers have now lost 4 straight games. First time all year they've had a losing streak this long. How high is the panic flag now in Detroit?
Well, it shouldn't be any sort of panic situation. 6.5 game lead is still a sizable situation here. They have Jim Leland as the manager. He's not going to let that team panic. Their starting pitching is way too good right now in order to panic. And Jim Leland reminds me a lot of Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver knew exactly when to call a meeting. Earl Weaver used to say, I don't call very many meetings because if you have a meeting and then you lose, what do you do after that? Jim Leland's built a lot like Weaver in that respect. I'm sure Jim Leland will have this team in the right direction. 6.5 is still pretty healthy, although it was 10 about 4 days ago.
Cowboy back in, what was it, 1993? You win the Giants and you had
Nightmare.
double-digit lead. You win 102 ball games and still 103 ball games. You needed 104 and you miss out on the playoffs, but you blow that big lead. And what's going through the clubhouse then as you see it all sort of slipping away?
Well, it's one of those things where it's almost an uncomfortable feeling. And I know when I was with the Giants in '93, we lost 8 ball games in a row to second-tier ball clubs, and the Braves actually came back and caught us. They went 7-1 during that time period, and a lot of things happen, and you don't really know when to call a team meeting. You don't know if the players should call it, the manager should call it, but I think that the Detroit Tigers have been through enough so far this season. I think they understand and have enough veterans on this ball club to realize that they've got to play better baseball and sharper baseball to be able to contend with the teams that are in the upper tier division. It's better to lose right now in August than it is to wait till September like we did and you end up going home.
It's also probably not a bad thing for the skipper to know how his team is going to respond to some adversity, because really they haven't had any all year. And this is sort of a Tiger team that came out of nowhere. Meanwhile, the White Sox make it a charge now on ESPN.com as the season winds down. Depth takes on added significance, so no team has a stronger bench than Ozzy's Chelsea. Red Sox hosting the O's, and
Watch this ball.
Willie Mo Pena. Oh, Willie Mo. Ooh, Corey Patterson not so much, but poor Willie is just raking. Next batter, Doug Mirabelli, and Mirabelli chipping in with his 5th home run of the season.
I think he's going to make the most difference for that Red Sox ball club. Behind the plate with these pitchers, I think Mirabelli is your answer.
Bottom 8, Pena needs a single for the cycle. All you need is a single. You just have to settle for the double, triple homer. Bottom 10 we go in a 7-7 game, and Bruce Chen walks Mark Loretta, walks Poppy, so you bring up Manny.
And you see there, no outs, and he walks the first 2 batters to get to a guy that's looking to extend his hitting streak. What does he do?
Yeah, he extends his hitting streak.
Call the dogs. This one's over.
27 is the streak. It's not a game-winning RBI officially, because Brandon Fahey's error allows a game-winning run to score, but the Sox will take it.
So Manny's at 27. Babe Ruth never hit in 27 in a row. Neither did Ted Williams. And if he gets a hit tomorrow, he's halfway to the Maggio.
Jerry Francona said afterwards, this is not an easy way to win a game. But you know what? It's all good for the Sox and for Manny. That streak now the 4th longest in the American League since 1999. In fact, 3 of the top 6 over that span have been by Red Sox, including, of course, Johnny Damon, 29 last year. We'll have more on this a bit later on Baseball Tonight. The Twins mascot, this might be a little foreshadowing, kind of symbolic of what's going on these days in Minnesota. Jays, Twins, Josh Raby, the 4-6-3. We've got a Boof Bonzer sighting, and, well, Reed Johnson goes boof. Boom off Boof. 9th of the year for Johnson. You're my boy, Blue. 2-0 Jays. Bottom 3, Luis Castillo into right, and Jason Bartlett, just the old 9-3 double play.
So Matt Garza yesterday pitching for the Twins. Not great results, and today kind of the same issue for Bonzer. Well, Minnesota Twins club without Francisco Liriano. It's a tough one.
Yeah, the Twins had runners on base all day. The problem is they kept erasing them by bouncing into double play after double play.
It's been the same thing the whole series. They've scored 1 run in 3 games against Toronto in this series.
Would you believe in the 9th, another one? That's 6 of them.
Seems like their middle infielders' arms would get tired.
6 double plays for the Blue Jays. 4-0 is your final. Scott Downs, unbeknownst to anybody, improves to 6-1 with 5 shutout innings. The Jays have won 6 of 7 against Minnesota. The Twins fading fast in that wild card race. And there it is, now a 2.5-game deficit behind the front-running Chi Sox. Boston, which has found its winning ways, now 2 back.
Hard to believe that one young pitcher would make that much difference for a ball club, but when you've got Santana and Liriano, which were basically automatic wins at the top of that rotation for a while, and now that Liriano's out, it puts more pressure on everybody, not just the pitchers, the hitters too.
Big deal. Due up on Baseball Tonight, wild card implications galore and more late inning heroics between the Phillies and the Reds. And how would Ryan Howard play into this one? Plus, Mark Pryor on the disabled list. Where have we heard this before? We'll discuss the ramifications next. Reds and Phils coming off that 14-inning thriller. Now, Elizardo Ramirez took the loss last night, and he starts tonight.
You know, Kyle Loesch did that in 2004. It's happened 7 times in this decade. I'm stunned that it's happened that many times.
Well, I think the Reds were stunned because the fan reached over and caught the ball, and Jimmy Rollins is a home run. Jerry Naron said, wait a minute, that's fan interference. Come on now. The umps uphold the call. It's a 5-4 game. Top 4 still 5-4 until Brandon Phillips, deep into the Philly night, is 11th. We're tied at 5. Same inning. Ryan Friel making things happen. Royce Clayton in at 6-5, Cincinnati. Bottom 8 we go. Still 6-5, and guess who?
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
That's 40 home runs for Ryan Howard.
6-6 game. Bring on Flash Gordon in the 9th. Blew the save last night. Here it's a tie game. He walks the leadoff hitter, Ryan Friel. Never a good thing. You know Friel's taking off. 27th steal of the season.
Slide to the outside part of the bag and get that hand in there.
Same at bat. Scott Hatteberg up the box. Friel stops at 3rd. So after a junior ground out, 2nd and 3rd, and Edwin Encarnacion puts the Reds up 7-6.
He's had some pretty big hits lately.
That was a great AB there. He battled off a lot of pitches from Gordon.
Now 9-7 in the 9th, and it's Howard, and it's Eddie Guardado. And remember, on Friday night, they walked Howard in that same situation with 3rd base open. They put him on. Here they pitch to him. and they get him.
And less than 2 outs. It's so unusual to see that.
Guardado struggled in the ninth, but picks up his 8th save with his new team. As Friel 2 for 4, 3 RBI, and 2 steals. Just another day at the office. So, your National League wild card picture has the Reds up a half game over the D-backs, the Pods, Astros, Rockies 2.5 back, Phillies 3 back. I think the Pirates are only like 4 back. Everybody in the National League at this point seems to be still in this wild card race. Everybody's within a half dozen. But Timmy, you know, we saw exactly what Ryan Friel can bring to a ball club. And if you're Cincinnati, can you put a price tag on the intangibles that a guy like that does for you?
I don't think you can. He's been such an important part of that team because of his speed and because of his aggressiveness. And we saw that on the bases tonight. There were runners at first and third tonight, and they hit a ground ball to Chase Utley, and Friel was on third. And Utley could have gone to second to try to get the double play, but he was afraid to throw it to second, thinking Ryan Friel is going to run home and he's going to score on this play. So Utley kind of juggled around, didn't know quite what to do, and then ended up doing the right thing, just flipping the ball to first to get an out, knowing if he threw it anything further than 5 feet, the guy on third, Ryan Friel, is going to run home. He's so intimidating on the bases. He's so aggressive. He's so fast. He makes everything go for the Reds, and that was one play that really showed how aggressive he can be.
You know, Timmy, with a guy like this, you can't teach speed, number one, and his instincts are so tremendous on the baseball field. I mean, this guy can play all kind of positions, not just third base or right field. I mean, they can put him anywhere and be comfortable with him.
It's the versatility. I mean, you can't teach speed, you can't teach versatility, and this man can help you in so many different ways. And one of the reasons the Reds are right there leading the pack in the wild card chase. Moving on now, the Cubs and the Rockies, and Angel Guzman, the spot start, and it would not be a good spot for him. Matt Holliday, well, every day's a holiday in Colorado. 3-run shot, his 22nd. Rocks get 4 in the first inning. Now 4-1, bottom 2, and Todd Helton starting to come alive with a bat.
And it's a good time for this club to play well because the wild card is wide open. So is the West.
Jamie Carroll scores on the triple. It's 5-1 Rockies. Bottom 5 now 8-3, and here is Helton again. He's got a single. He had the triple. There's the double, so all we need is the home run. Willie Moe couldn't get the cycle. How about Helton? 7th inning, here's the chance. 2 aboard. Will Oman is your pitcher, and oh man, I missed it. I don't think
he hit it high enough.
It's too high. It's too high.
Didn't quite carry.
Helton has to settle for the 3-hit day as he goes 3 for 5. Rockies win 8-4. Josh Fogg was just good enough. Can you scatter 10 hits over 6 innings?
In Colorado, you can.
Yes, fair enough. Matt Merton, his 7th home run of the year for the Cubs. And more bad news for the Cubs. How many times have we said that this season? Mark Pryor on the disabled list with shoulder tendonitis. 8th time in his 4-year career that Pryor's been on the DL, including 3 this season. Just 1-6 with a 7.21 ERA. With the Cowboy at this point, I mean, Kerry Wood and Pryor, it's same old, same old. The Cubs just got to throw up their hands. What do you do?
Well, this is definitely disappointing for the Cubs and for Cubs fans, for Dusty Baker, the manager of the Cubs. But you've got 2 pitchers, and you mentioned them both, with Wood and Pryor, that a lot of hopes were based on, and it really just hasn't come to fruition except for 1 year, and that's been quite a while ago that these guys are actually able to finish out a season. And when you have a pitcher like Mark Pryor at this point in the season, I think he may end up being shut down for the rest of the season because the Cubs aren't going anywhere right now. And the last thing that you want to do is take a chance on hurting a guy any further than what Mark Pryor has been hurt to this point. And I think you just shut him down and just see if you can get some innings out of him in the following year, because they sure haven't gotten much out of him so far.
You know, the number one common denominator of all the great pitchers is durability, from Walter Johnson to Warren Spahn to Nolan Ryan to Roger Clemens. Look at Tom Glavine. No trips to the disabled list in his career. Hall of Fame pitcher. Greg Maddux, Hall of Fame pitcher. 1 trip to the disabled list. This guy's been on the DL 8 times, and there are people with the Cubs wondering if they're ever going to be able to keep him healthy enough to become the pitcher that he should be, and it's a real concern now.
But Timmy, what do you do? I mean, there was talk of one of those 2 guys being moved at the deadline. You can't get full value for them. Both have injuries that are sort of nagging, and it's not like, well, it's long term and they may not be back. They'll be right there again in spring training, and the talk in Chicago once again will be, well, if Pryor and Wood are healthy, I think we could. I mean, it's the same song
Right.
every
I mean,
year.
it's a really tricky thing because you can't trade him now, like you said, because he doesn't have value because he's injured. Then if you get him back completely healthy and he's throwing the way that Mark Pryor can really throw, why in the world would you want to trade him? So they have a very difficult spot here. But if they're smart, they just will never go into another season again saying, if Wood and Pryor are healthy, we're going to be good. They just can't count on either one of those guys.
And you know, this is the story of Dusty Baker's managerial career in Chicago. Is everybody has banked on the fact that these two guys were going to lead this Cub club to victory, and Dusty Baker's ended up being the one that's taking the blame for the losses, and it's because they don't have two pitchers that are supposed to be 20-game winners.
Problems galore on the north side of Chicago. Moving on to Atlanta, the ATL. You talk about Maddox and Glavine, so many great years for the Braves. This time it's Kevin Berry, first Major League start, and it was not successful. Billy Hall, 26th of the year. Billy Hall, 26 homers.
Well, he's a strong guy. If you've ever seen him take batting practice, you know he can hit it a long way.
And Ben Sheets, Tim, he strikes at everybody. He walks nobody.
Ben Sheets has 4 walks and 52 strikeouts this year. I think that's a pretty good ratio, especially in today's day and age.
That breaking ball is absolutely devastating.
7-4 here in the 8th. Uh-oh, Francisco Cordero walks in the run. Brian McCann takes his base, so it's 7-5. Next batter, Jeff Francoeur. Now, you don't want to throw it in the strike zone, right? Because he'll swing at it no matter where it is. Now, there's strike 1, strike 2. Just like that. Cordero out of a jam. In the 9th, Braves threatening again. 2 aboard, potential tying run. Marcus Giles. Cordero. It wasn't pretty, but he got him.
Doesn't have to be pretty. You can bend, just don't break.
The mantra of the Cowboy. 8-5 Brewers as Sheets goes 7 solid. Strikes out 8. Did give up the 5 earned, but he was dominant at times. And the Brewers with a 3-run victory. Now back to Billy Hall now, part of our Starbucks double shot. 26 home runs, leads all big league shortstops. 4th most by a shortstop in Brewer history. And Prince Fielder, oh, by the way, hit a home run. 22 leads all Major League rookies.
Club's only 4 back in that wild card. They may make some noise before it's all over with, especially with Sheets back in the rotation.
Due up on baseball tonight as Mariano Rivera continues to steamroll toward Cooperstown. We will show you yet another milestone for the Yankee greats. And speaking of all-timers, the best defensive plays in Colorado Rockies history. We'll show you those when Baseball Tonight rolls on.
Double Shot is brought to you by Starbucks Double Shot Espresso Drink. Make today the day.
Sunday Night Baseball, and it could be history in the making. Dodgers versus Giants. Greg Maddux looking for career win number 329. That would tie Tom Seaver for 10th on the all-time list. Giants-Dodgers, 8 Eastern on ESPN after Baseball Tonight. Just about 1 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Time. This is Baseball Tonight. Welcome in, everyone. Sports Center coming your way after we finish up our business. And, well, Coors Field, the rarefied air. It's a dream for hitters, a nightmare for pitchers, and honestly, not always a picnic for those trying to catch the baseball, chasing those balls back and forth around the outfield. Still, we've seen our fair share of stellar D in this team's brief history. As we continue our tribute to the fantastic defense from all 30 Major League ball clubs, we do the Rockies, top 3 gems of all time. Number 3, July 16th, 1996, Walt Weiss. He can pick it. Going way to his right, down and dirty, up, and somehow gets enough on it.
Look at that stretch by the big cat.
Using the same glove he used when he was in high school. Called it the creature at the end of his career because it was kind of alive on his hand. Paul was a good shortstop in several places, especially Oakland.
Wow, look at that stretch right there. Ooh, that would knock the breath out of me.
Number 2, it's EY. April 23 of 94. Derek May, sinking liner. And full extension, Eric Young. Boy, a young spry. Young.
Eric Young, who just got signed by the Rangers the other day and will be back in the big leagues soon.
Shortstop, second baseman, and he's playing left field in that shot.
Number 1, another guy who's still doing his thing in the bigs, now with Milwaukee, Jeff Cirillo. Down the third base line. Whee! The full pirouette. And gets Jeff Revelin.
Tell you what, those years for Jeff Cirillo in Colorado, Didn't come much better than that right there.
From the third base coach's box. And look where he throws this thing.
He looked like he
And
turned around
what's
at
he
the
looking
umpire.
at?
Is that fair? Okay,
That
let me
fair?
go
All
ahead
right.
and throw this guy out.
That's exactly what he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, unbelievable stuff. The most gold gloves in Rockies history, well, it starts with Larry Walker. Larry Walker, the Canadian. He could do it with a bat and the glove. 5 goldies. Todd Helton has 3. Mayfi Perez won 1. Well, Sunday on baseball tonight, you got to go back in time for some of these. The best web gems in Dodger history. Brooklyn and Los Angeles. You know there's some vintage video coming here. Check it out. Sunday, 7 Eastern on baseball. And, of course, go to ESPN.com, search keyword all-time web gems, and see our breakdown on ESPN Motion. You can also get team defensive notes, the schedule of when we will show your favorite team's all-time defensive plays. Angels, Yankees, Kelvin Escobar on the bump. And, JB, I guess there's a lesson here. Down is good, up is bad.
Well, that's the problem that you have with Escobar is when he's on, he is absolutely nasty, as you see that split finger to Posada right there. But when the split finger doesn't split, it hits right towards the stand.
Robinson Cano's hit .334 this year, guys, and he's going to hit 9th in the order when all of these guys come back in September. That's how good it is.
Well, there's the splitter to Melky. Down, good,
finger.
up, bad.
Fastball in the middle of the plate to Johnny Damon. That ball is crushed.
Damon 7 for 48 lifetime against Escobar coming into this at bat. I don't think he was fooled here.
No, 2-0 count to Johnny Damon there, and you can see his eyes and his hands right on the baseball.
And then he gets Jeter with the splitter. So 5 earned on 2 homers, still strikes out the side. We go to the 9th. It's 5-2 Yanks. Automatic Mariano. 30th save of the season. And the Yankees win it by that final of 5-2. Yankees 5-run second, by the way, the 20th time that they have scored 5 runs in an inning this year. That's tied with the Braves for most.
A lot of folks wonder how Jared Wright can put together that many wins after the surgeries he's been through. And the thing about Jared Wright is he throws strikes. You throw strikes in the big leagues and you attack the strike zone, you give your team a chance to win.
Now, Mariano Rivera with his 30th save, 9 times in his soon-to-be Hall of Fame career, he has reached that plateau. Only Trevor Hoffman and Lee Smith have done it more. And Mo ain't done. Yanks still 2 up on the Red Sox. D-Rays and A's. Casey Fossum looking for a road victory in Oaktown. Bottom 2, facing Marco Scutaro. That'll get Eric Chavez home to make it 1-0 Oakland. A couple of batters later, they are loaded. You hang him, we bang him. Jason Kendall sort of squeaks one into right field.
See where these pitches are from Casey Fossum. This is a kid with a tremendous arm and great ability, but when you have the ball up in the strike zone, it's going to get hit hard regardless of who's standing at the plate.
He walks Milton Bradley to force home a run, make it 4-0, and 2 batters later, well, Eric Chavez take your base. It's 5-0. And that would be all for Fossum. 1 2/3, 5 earned, 5 hits, 5 walks.
As I said, throwing strikes in the big leagues, you can get out. Throw balls, you lose.
It's such a simple game. Nice play there by Mark Ellis. Nick Swisher with the great stretch at first base. 2 batters later with Carl Crawford aboard. You know he can fly, but still, Eric Chavez starts the 5-4-3.
He's the best defensive third baseman in the league. That ball was by him. He caught it on its way to left field. That was a terrific play.
6-3 your final. Joe Blanton. Nobody talks about Joe Blanton. 13-9, 6 1/3 of 2-run baseball. He struck out 5. And don't look now, but the A's have won 7 out of 8.
And they're 4.5 ahead. That's their biggest lead of the year.
Mariners, Rangers both trying to stay in that AL West race. Bottom 5, it's a 2-0 game. Gary Matthews Jr. Souvenir.
That looked like he was fixing to hit a softball when he looked like he double clutched there to kill that thing.
Now 4-0 and Gerald Laird off of Jamie Moyer.
Another catcher well over 300 this year. We have a few of them, Joe Mauer, Michael Barrett included.
5-0 Texas, and Edinson Volquez, big prospect for the Rangers.
Check out Volquez. He looks like he's 19. He may be 19.
He may be 19. I think he's 22. Up the middle there from Unieski Betancourt. Sexton and Jojima in, and It's a 5-3 game. You've got drama. A couple of batters later, now 5-4. Greg Dobbs facing Rick Bauer. Bauer wins. We go to the ninth. Richie Sexton can give the Mariners the lead. He hit it hard, but Matthews Jr. in his tracks. Otska the save. Rangers with a 5-4 victory. Texas has won 11 of the last 13 at home against these Mariners, so it's pretty much same old, same old. Sheriff
that game for Volquez. You talk about young pitchers. My goodness, we got a bunch of them, Timmy.
Due up on baseball tonight. Speaking of young pitchers, the Mets have a pretty good one in John Maine. Hadn't been scored upon in 3 starts. What would he do on Saturday against the Nationals? Plus, reaching into the stands and sacrificing our body for the good of the ball club and the good of our baseball program. Top 5 web jams are imminent. Mets Nationals, John Maine enter this one with a 23-inning scoreless streak. Bottom 1, Felipe Lopez. Deflection, Jose Valentin making a play.
Glove saving a beauty.
Bottom 3, it's 3-0. Alfonso Soriano, strike 1, strike 2. And the main event, strike 3, Soriano.
This kid has a nice, smooth delivery.
Nick Johnson. And there goes the scoreless streak, 26.
Over the fence.
Got a pretty smooth swing, doesn't it? Johnson, 18th home run of the year. So it's 3-1. Now 4-1 in the 6th, and oh, sweet revenge. Soriano taking him out.
Up and out over.
37th for Alfonso, and well, the Nationals would tie this thing at 4. We go to the 7th. Valentin, little looper. Carlos Beltran scores the go-ahead run. Bring on Billy Wagner to save it, and 6-4 is your final, but Maine does not get the victory. It is a no decision. 27th save for Wagner, and Nats lose for the 5th time in their last 7 contests. However, Cowboy, John Maine, just when you thought he was absolutely unhittable, there's some chinks in the armor today. What did you notice that was different about this outing?
Well, he had a couple of pitches in this ball game to a couple of hitters. You saw the home run from Nick Johnson. He elevated that ball up in the strike zone. And then the pitch to Soriano was a pitch that was out over the plate, and he got him with sliders early, came back with that fastball in that situation. The ball was hit hard. But the one thing that I noticed about John Maine that I think is a great tribute to his pitching coach, Rick Peterson, is the fact that all of his mechanics are very nice and smooth. You see these pitches here to Zimmerman. He's a dead red fastball hitter, and he continued to pound the strike zone. And I think that is a key element to him getting people out, even though that he did end up giving up a home run to both Nick Johnson and to Alfonso Soriano. He continued to throw strikes even after the fact that his streak of scoreless innings was put away. And you see him facing Austin Kearns right here, continuing to pound that strike zone. And this is after the home run. Comes back, throwing strikes, getting his breaking ball over. That's what I like about the young pitchers that we've seen, especially this John Maine in a New York Mets uniform, knowing that your team is in a big playoff hunt and the Mets really need to get to that playoff. He's not nervous. He's continuing to go out there and pitch, and I think it's just preparation from their pitching coach, Rick Peterson.
Tell you what, the young pitchers that we have seen making their debuts this season, I mean, the Verlanders and Liriano and Cole Hamels and Gorzolani, Maine. I mean, you could read a book, Timmy, on the freshman pitchers who are making an impact this season.
Right. It has been the year of the young pitcher, no doubt. But the key is most of these young pitchers are pitching now in a pennant race. The Angels, for instance, Joe Saunders, Jarrett Weaver, their rookie pitchers have won 12 consecutive decisions. You talked about Liriano. He was replaced by another rookie, Matt Garza, who came up. The Tigers have been led in many ways by Justin Verlander. The Red Sox have been led in many ways by 2 rookie pitchers, John Lester and, of course, Jonathan Papelbon. Today, Jason Hirsch came up for the Astros, and they threw him right into the middle of a pennant race. I believe this is the way you should do it. When you have a kid like Hirsch, for instance, who had a 1.28 ERA and had a 12-game winning streak at AAA, bring him up and let's see what he can do in the big leagues. I think that's a better way to go, to bring up one of your kids who's red hot rather than taking a guy who's recycled and a veteran who's not particularly good anymore. Let's see what the kid can do. Maybe he can be the spark you want. If he doesn't have it and he's not ready, you send him back down. No harm harm done. I don't think enough teams have thought about this over the years, but this year they're starting to throw these kids right in, and I think it's a good idea.
Tim, as a former pitcher, I totally agree with you on that situation, and I think that as a young pitcher, you come to the big leagues, especially with your club in the playoff hunt, you don't think about calling your mom, I got to the big leagues. You don't think about, well, I need to do this or that, I need to dress this way, I want to make sure that I don't interrupt the clubhouse. You think about, I've got to go out and win a ball game, and that's what's always, as an athlete, been ingrained into your head and into your system, is to go out there and pitch to win. So you forget about all of the surroundings, you forget about the names on the back of the jerseys. You just play baseball and you forget about being nervous, and you just go out there and do what you're paid to do, and that's get people out.
I don't know if it's a shift in philosophy or just that there are more great young arms that happen to be ready this year, but it's been a lot of fun watching these guys come up and make an impact in these pennant races. It makes it that much sadder that we may not see Liriano again for the rest of this season. I tell you, the Pittsburgh Pirates, not in a pennant race, but they've got some young arms. One of them on the hill today against the Cardinals. Meanwhile, Freddie Sanchez, young bat, knocking home Chris Duffy to make it 1-0 as we got the more throwback uniforms. Paying tribute to the Negro Leagues, many ballparks this week. Albert Pujols, .398 career at PNC Park, highest of any active player. So why would you throw him that?
Well, that's a young pitcher facing a veteran hitter. Veteran that's still young, but you learn quick. You don't leave it in the middle of the plate to out it.
But that's all right. 3-2 in the ninth. Mike Gonzalez. You know, if I said who's the only pitcher in baseball that's been a closer all year, hasn't blown a save,
Mike Gonzalez.
You are correct.
20 for 20.
20 for 20. It's 23 straight dating back to last year. And Ian Snell, the young arm to which I attributed earlier, 10-8 now. He's the only Pirates pitcher with a winning record. 7 strong innings for the victory. But, Timmy, you know, getting back to the Cardinals, so dominant early in the season, and everybody sort of penciled them in as the team that was going to represent the National League in the World Series. Now, of course, we're penciling the Mets into that role, but where do the Cardinals fit into this whole thing?
Well, it's hard to tell. The Cardinals are going to win the division. I'm sure about that, but at some point they're going to have to get hot. It hasn't happened yet for a variety of reasons. Their starting pitching hasn't been what it should be, mainly because Mark Mulder's been hurt. Their offense isn't particularly good, and keep in mind, their offense wasn't particularly good last year either, with Rolen out for most of the year. David Eckstein was third on that team in RBIs last year, and Albert Pujols just carried the load, and he's going to have to do the same this year. But what they have to do is really get Jim Edmonds going and get Scott Rolen going, because clearly they don't have the same pitching staff that they had last year. And if they're going to go to the World Series again, some changes are going to have to be made, and some people are going to have to get healthy and soon.
Well, I think a lot of this with the Cardinals has to do with a sense of urgency. And I think that losing the ball games that they've lost over this short period of time, 12 of 16 ball games, as you saw in the graphic there, I think that in itself takes a veteran club, which the Cardinals are, and it allows them to say to themselves, hey, we got to win ball games if we're going to get to the playoffs. It's not going to automatically happen. And you see the Reds, you see the Brewers, you see other teams in their division that are winning ball games. And I think that the Cardinals will win the division. I agree with Timmy, and I think that sense of urgency will prevail here shortly.
Albert Pujols, by the way, 329, 35 homers, 93 RBI. So another monster season, but not quite the runaway candidate for MVP. It's going to be interesting to see how that shapes up with a couple of those New York Mets in the race. Due up here on baseball tonight, Willie Moe muscling up, Mike Cameron as well. We will have all the significant dingers of the day. Royals Indians playing a pair. CC Sabathia, .69 ERA during the day. That bodes well. This bodes well as well. Andy Marte, the kid, robbing Angel Baroa.
Marte's played quite well since arriving in the big leagues.
Bottom 6, still no score until Jason Michaels off of Odalis Perez. 9th of the year, it's 2-0 try. Top 8 we go, now 2-1, and Sabathia gets Mike Sweeney 10 strikeouts in 8 innings.
And 2 earned runs in his last 23 innings for Sabathia.
4-4 in the 9th, Travis Hafner playing the role of hero. Hector Luna in, didn't slide, got away with it. Indians win on the walk-off single 5-4 after blowing it with a couple of relievers in the 8th inning. Rafael Betancourt does get credit for the win. Grady Sizemore, by the way, 18 home runs this season, 15 of them with nobody on base. That would not have happened with last year's Indians team. Game 2 between the Royals and Tribe. Jimmy Gobble hoping to preserve a lead here. It's 5-4 in the 8th. There's Sizemore's 18th. Solo shot. Next batter is Michaels, homered in Game 1. Broke his bat in Game 2. But Mark Grudzielanek,
That's a fumble.
Very unusual.
yeah,
And as sure-handed as any second baseman in the league this year.
uncharacteristic. So Michaels is safe. And you know that Hafner's going to make him pay, right? Well, sure you know it. I told you. Michaels will score all the way from first. And that Royals bullpen blows another one. Indians sweep the doubleheader. Their third straight one-run victory over the Royals. They've won 4 in a row.
Right. It's been a bad year for bullpens, and the Royals have had the worst bullpen of any.
And what was that you were saying earlier, Tim?
Well,
the Indians won every game
The
this
Indians
season?
win every game the rest of the year. They're still not going to win the division if the Tigers keep on any sort of pace. That's unbelievable, given we're talking about the Indians here, who were supposed to be contenders at some point at the beginning of the year.
Let's hit some home runs, shall we? Touching them all on baseball tonight. Todd Walker.
Drives it to right field.
First home run as a Padre, and the first of 3 in the same inning off of young phenom Jason Hirsch. Willie Moe, that's a hanger.
Right.
5th home run in 12 games for Willie Moe.
Chris Benson.
Phillies, Jimmy Rollins, once and twice, lefty and right.
Good to left. There goes Dunn.
3rd career multi-home run game for Rollins.
Eddie Guardado still hung in there and got that save, though.
As he did. Grady Sizemore, and as I mentioned, 18 home runs, 15 of them of the solo variety.
Was hammered.
He's a good player.
Can he pitch?
Maybe. Prince Fielder. Oh, that's a big swing from a big man.
We are going to have some Rookie of the Year races in the American and National
Yeah, both
Leagues that are going to be really good.
Billy Hall leads all shortstops in the bigs. We got some pretty good shortstops in the bigs. Bill Hall, 26 home runs. Albert Pujols, blocked and loaded off of Ian Snell.
That's one Cardinal that hadn't laid off swinging the bat right there.
And Alfonso Soriano, can I get some torque, please?
I think he likes left field. He sure has played well out there. He's taken to it well. His offense is not hurting at all.
You're just not supposed to hit that many home runs in that ball.
I'm that ballpark.
Brian Howard, 40.
Dude, that was out.
He's got 40.
First full season in the major leagues, he's got 40 bombs.
Talking about MVP, that guy might be getting some votes himself.
Here's your home run tracker, and Soriano, the fifth on the all-time Nationals Expos single-season home run list, and I guess you could say he's second on the list because the other 4 guys are all named Vladimir. Due up on baseball tonight, we haven't forgotten about the defense. Your top 5 web gems as we count down the plays of the day. It's all ahead. Stay with us.
Baseball Tonight, brought to you by KFC's Fiery Buffalo Boneless Wings. It's no bones, all flavor. Only at KFC.
Dust off the leather, if you will, for the top 5 web gems on a Saturday. Number 5, Abraham Nunez. Tough play for a third baseman.
Go get it.
Up and over and into the stands. And reach.
Not too many other sports where you have to mess with people in the seats, and run
That's
over
true.
bullpen mounds, and run into walls, and still play the game.
That's a fair point. Number 4, Kevin Berry, the pitcher. The cat-like quickness off the mound. Once again, the kid helping his own cause, as the other pitcher couldn't get the button down. And she's
Most pitchers played shortstop in high school when you weren't pitching.
That is
Better
correct.
athletes than we think.
That is correct.
Number 3, Morgan Ensberg. Style points. Gets his man with plenty to spare.
Morgan Ensberg was a great high school basketball player. He used to go up against Paul Pierce all the time in Southern California.
You don't want to test the arm of Jeff Frankfurt. I'm just saying. This guy has an absolute cannon.
You just see, though, how he got set on that. That was perfect, but what a laser beam.
And Brady Clark is not a slow man. Number 1 belongs to Royce Clayton.
Great play right here. Great awareness, great reactions by Clayton. Look at that. Still filled it with 2 hands and got his runner.
Right place, right time.
Wow.
5-6-3 if you're scoring at home. And I know you are. It's good teamwork by the Reds. Hey, that's why they're in first place. All about the teamwork. Your stat of the night, Manny, 27-game hit streak, fourth longest in the AL since '99. None of the top three are longer than 29. In fact, the last 30-game hit streak in the American League was, well, it was a year earlier, 1998. Eric Davis hit in 30 straight for the Orioles. I forgot about that. Time now for the Cowboys' most important thing.
Well, speaking of Eric Davis, he was a teammate of mine with the Cincinnati Reds, and that's the club that I think is the most important today. The Reds weren't expected to do a lot unless Ken Griffey Jr. stayed healthy all year long, and he has. And guess what? The Reds are in first place when it comes to the wild card.
All right, Timmy, what do you have?
I'm going to take the Red Sox today. They came back and beat the Orioles and come from behind win, and Manny Ramirez gets one last shot to extend the hitting streak, singles to left field. An error helps bring in the winning run. A very important win for the Red Sox, and just as important, Manny extends the streak.
And the L.A. Dodgers, really the story of the day. They win again. That's 14 out of 15. JB, is it fair to say now this is the team to beat in the West?
I think they are the team to beat. And when you talk about the Dodgers and them winning the ball game today, they won without Garciaparra and without Jeff Kent in the lineup and still scored 7+ runs to win the game.
Mm-hmm. And as luck would have it, we will look back on some of the fantastic defense in L.A. and Brooklyn Dodger history as we continue to count down the top 3 web gems from every team in baseball. We got the top 3 Dodger gems tomorrow. Baseball tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time. But there's another baseball tonight between now and then. 12:30 p.m. Eastern time. We'll be back. We'll do it all over again. Look ahead to the Sunday slate in Major League Baseball. For Timmy and JB, I'm Scott, SportsCenter.